Everyone, today is Thursday, February 10th, 3:30 is the time. Special meeting agenda to discuss human resource personnel changes. Calling the meeting to order, attending Commissioners Duncan, Brooks, and Filios. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
Yes, we have item number 1 that was requested to be removed from the agenda.
Okay, that's fine. All right then, so we'll move on to the second item, which is a request to convert residential appraiser 1 to 2, and that's the assessor's office. Allison, go right ahead, please.
Thank you, Allison Knapp, for the record. This is one of our appraisers. They have completed their years, their education, and they're just moving up to the next step of appraiser 2.
Okay.
Do you have a 2 opening that they're going to go into, or is this an actual conversion of a 1 to a 2?
This is,
Existing?
I'm like, we're short. We don't have any 2s. So, like,
Right.
we have all 1s.
Okay, so,
Yes, this is just a step up like we typically
Because
do.
they've-
Once they finished all their
Okay,
education and their
okay.
hours, they go to
Right.
an appraiser 2. We should have positions open in a 2.
Yeah, they have, shows that it's budget neutral, so what would happen is, we would convert that appraiser 1 to an appraiser 2 position, and with the adjustment to the salary.
Okay.
right, so I was just wondering if they had open 2s, that it would not be a conversion, they
Oh,
would
I
just
have-
move them up.
I think I have my open position report. So let me
Kind of
look.
makes a difference.
Yes.
Allison,
Okay,
how
let's
many
see.
openings do you have?
Oh,
I believe we still have 3 openings.
3.
3 in the appraiser's office, and there is a residential appraiser 2 opening
Okay,
based on today's open position
so then
report.
I would recommend that we move that person from a 1 to a 2 and not convert the 1 to a 2, if you have openings.
Okay.
The difference being, if you convert it, you will not have a 1 to backfill, you will still have a 2 to backfill. If you move the person from a 1 to a 2, then you can backfill the 1. And then if you find that somebody that you're going to hire for that 1 is actually a 2, then we
you
can
can make-
address
yeah,
that
yeah.
later.
Yeah.
Am I making sense?
Yeah, it's a rarity that we
Yes.
find someone to come in as
At a 2, right. So that's why I'm suggesting you don't convert that position. I'm suggesting you move the person
to the 2
Cool.
position.
to the 2.
Okay.
Yes.
Make sense? Okay. Bill, okay?
Yeah,
Motion?
I move that we approve the not conversion, but approve the person moving from a 1 to a 2 with the indicated pay increase, which will be budget neutral.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
I think we need a clarification,
Yes,
Sylvia.
to be effective pay period 4.
Pay period
which
4.
we're in right now.
Okay.
Yes, okay.
Got it?
So I.
Oh,
Did you call me?
Yeah, that's an
Okay.
aye.
You stopped. I interrupted you.
Yes, Chairman Filios.
Aye.
Okay.
Motion is carried. Thank you. Item number 3, clarification of specialized Group 1 lead duty pay for assessor's office. This is a discussion. Go right ahead, Allison.
Yes, this one was in our reorganization. Somehow it didn't get brought all the way to you guys. It is kind of just a special duty lead. They are somebody who's gonna kind of be the head person for our specialized appraisers. This is something that you would get a dollar bonus to have that extra duty added onto your regular.
Sure, so it's higher duty pay, not a bonus. We don't want to use the B word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, what I wanted to add, and I should have done this right up front, is that with the request that we're getting, and I don't mean to pick on you, but
Right.
what the position that I'm taking rather assertively is I want to wait for the wage study, because we're getting a lot of requests that are coming before us, and if we grant one, on what basis would we not grant another? So the only way to handle this, I think, is to wait on the wage study, which is supposed to conclude, and there may be some exceptions, Sylvia can jump in, by the end of this month. I would hold off on this.
Okay, To me, though, we already had this as a position that has been in our books. I just want to make sure that we can have it going forward and that there's a pay attached to it so that I could at some point give this to someone.
Right. So think of it, Chris, like KCSO uses higher duty pay. If you go to the K-9 unit, if you go to detectives, if you do that, that's what they're talking about. They're going to have a lead position that will get this dollar.
Okay, so that's where I need clarification. How does this position differ from others?
This
It's
is-
lead?
It is a lead of that whole entire specialized appraisers. Because they're all individualized, I need a person who is kind of more an admin person that everybody can turn in their vacations to, somebody who coordinates lunches, breaks, all of that. That's what this person
fair
is.
enough.
It's completely different than their regular appraisal duties.
And they're a appraiser 3, right? At the appraiser 3 level?
Anybody
Or
who would be
two.
in, yes.
They'd be paid their regular salary, and it's like that special duty pay. When they're in that role of lead, they would get an additional $1 per hour.
Do you look at one person maintaining this lead position, or do you look at it rotating after a year?
No, it would be the same person until they just said they don't, it's too much.
Okay.
And then we would
Okay.
figure someone else to do
But you're
that.
not asking for action today?
No. It's just we're assigning the dollar to that position. Most likely it won't be until FY '23.
Oh, for good, okay,
Just
okay.
because I want it to be here and in place should I find someone to do this.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Now, can this be handled by status change form then?
Well, so since it's a discussion item, it would have to
Come
come
back.
back
That's
Okay.
correct.
approval,
Approval.
for that $1 an hour, and then once that's approved, it would be by
Status change form.
But we would need you to officially
To
approve
officially
it.
approve it.
Right.
Okay.
It's like, if it's gonna be a fiscal year '23 item, can't it just be built into the
Yeah.
budget process
Yeah.
as a request?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right then. Okay, so we'll move on to item 4, higher duty pay for the assessor's office vehicle licensing. Go ahead, Allison.
Actually gonna do
So
Anna.
basically what this
Anna?
is,
Okay, yeah.
it's worded in the memorandum as interim higher duty pay. It's basically, we have a lead position that's been in place obviously for years now. Our employee is out due to FMLA. They're out since December 10th. And they're not gonna be able to most likely return until the 5th of April. So it's one of those where there's a lead position and there's a needed position there to be filled while this person is out. So we wanted to do basically like a temporary, if we could have another employee fill in that lead position. And they would, again, get, the interim higher duty pay for the amount listed on the memorandum here, just to kind of compensate for the duties they'll be doing during the time that the person is away.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
So,
I'm fine.
pretty standard.
okay.
Okay.
And this would be retro to December 10th, 2021.
Okay. Got it. Motion?
I move that we approve the higher duty pay for the assessor's office vehicle licensing and make it retroactive to December 10th, 2021.
Okay.
Second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion's carried. Thank you, ladies. Item 5, Barry Mchugh, convert deputy prosecuting attorney from an ATP 2 to an ATP 3. Go right ahead, Barry.
Thank you, Commissioners. Barry Mchugh for the record. This originally came as a request to convert the AT2 to an AT3 with a slight increase in pay. Commissioner Filios said no, and so I came back and said, well, how about the AT2 to 3 without a bump in pay? And he approved that to be on the agenda. Unfortunately, at the time, I did not appreciate that the salary level at AT2 step was not matched up with anything on the step level at AT3. So I didn't withdraw it, only because I thought there might be a possibility of an exception to kind of the step program to allow for him to, this attorney to stay at the same pay level with the conversion to the AT3 to reflect an increase basically of working misdemeanors into felony cases to reflect additional responsibilities basically. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure everybody understood exactly what kind of happened because it certainly wasn't
Right. So kind of like the appraiser situation, do you have an AT3 position open?
yes.
Okay. So if you have an opening, then it should be like the 1 to the 2, where we're not converting the position, but we are moving that person from a 2 to a 3.
Right. The only difference there is, and it's not like any particular position is reserved for specific activities. The 3 that's open right now, we were hoping to fill with somebody who would work specifically on the Renfro case, and that takes, usually in terms of salary, a little bit more money because of the needed expertise in the civil arena. So I guess all I would say is we were hoping to hold that 3 back for a new hire that would have more experience in that area.
How close are you to that hire?
We'll have an interview probably late next week. We've had some initial discussions with an applicant that we like, and I would say within 2 weeks we're going to make a decision.
Okay. And then so my last question is, how many AT2s do you have? How many openings do you have? And how many AT3s do you have? Because I know that between you and Ann, you keep downgrading and then you upgrade and you downgrade because it depends, just like the appraisers. It's easier to fill a 2 than a 3, but I understand you need that 3. So I guess I'm just kind of wondering, are any of those 2 positions downgraded from a 3?
I know I don't have any open position as a 2 that has been downgraded from a 3. I have a position that's filled that was downgraded.
Right.
Right.
So I guess that's where I'm getting at, because typically in the past, if it was downgraded, we've always approved the upgrade because it was that originally. And since this is going to be, is it budget neutral going forward?
Well, without an increase in pay, yes.
But I don't think legally we should even give them more responsibility and not increase their pay, especially when they're going to be not even in the range.
Yeah, but that's the key question.
Right.
When they move to AT3, are they outside the range?
No, they
Oh,
would be.
no. No, not in this situation.
Okay,
The
they would
person
still-
is paid within the AT3 range.
So in other words, we could move them from a 2 to a 3 and keep the wage where it's at. Is that correct?
Yes.
If we so choose to do that.
Didn't Barry say that the
there's
steps don't
overlap.
match up,
Right.
though?
Okay, so we'd have to put them on the nearest step. Is the nearest step, what is our projection?
So the nearest step projection is,
The salary would be 70,607.16. Actually, the person would be going from an AT2-4 to an AT3-3, I believe,
right, from
is how it would
68,
progress.
216 to 70,
Yeah,
607.
Okay, so just about 2,000.
so is it, my concern is this policy? If someone is stepping into a new position, and that position involves taking on more responsibility, but it's more of a transitional type thing, I don't necessarily buy into the philosophy that says, okay, that's it, we've got to upgrade them. Why don't you step in and demonstrate that you can do the job before we upgrade it? Maybe that's the world that I came out of, but my point is, if he goes to a 3, but it's still within the range, because the ranges tend to overlap from a salary perspective, I would rather hold off on the increase. I don't have a problem with taking him to a 3, as Barry indicated earlier. I have difficulty giving the increase right now. Because once again, it's not just this. It's other areas that I have to be concerned about, and I have to look at the county as a whole. It's a little bit different with the assessor because they're achieving different certifications. And that's a data point in time. That's a specific certificate, a specific accomplishment. Here, you've got somebody taking on more responsibility, and I get it, but we can deal with this when the wage study completes.
I guess my only concern is, as an AT3, he will not be on an AT3 step on the matrix. He will be an anomaly. So my concern is that when the wage study goes to look at this, he's not going to be treated like everybody else because he's not on a step.
Yeah, but when the study comes in and we give the increase, and the study, for example, potentially indicates that there's yet another increase. See, budget neutral doesn't exist for me because budget neutral may be neutral this year, but the base goes up and we're building on that base in the following year. And so that's where not just with you, Barry, I just have this difficulty right across the board. And so I see what you're saying, but I think we're potentially going down a dangerous road. And that's my concern. If I'm wrong,
Well, as long as you
Hard
put
for
it on
you.
the record and describe the reason why you're doing this, moving it up to a 3, and you're not quite to that, what is it, step 4?
Yes, it'll be, AT3, step 3 would then put him at the 70,000. He's gonna float between a 2 and a 3.
And you
Right,
just
so he's
keep-
in between the
It'd be an
steps.
exception to the
so
plan.
so where? I'm sorry, Darren.
So
go
you
ahead.
just articulate on the record that here's why you're doing it. And you did already, Chris.
Okay.
They're waiting to see if they can do the job and blah, blah, blah. And I'm assuming when the wage study comes out, they'll make that bump.
We'll
He or
have to
she.
correct it.
Sure. Right. I just want to make sure that if we cannot afford steps because we are affording the wage study, that he does not get lost.
Oh, I'll make sure
Yeah, he's not going to
Okay.
get lost.
that,
And as we're looking at him, hopefully between both of us and Nancy, who does our analysis, she'll go, where does he go? We're gonna have to put him on a step at that point.
right.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so we need a motion?
You do.
Okay, do you want to do this?
I'm not gonna support the move without getting him on the right step. So,
Do it in 2 parts.
oh,
Do the,
The move to a 3, and then the second motion, the steps.
but I'm not gonna approve the move.
Where does
Oh,
Bill
you're not.
stand?
okay, I'll do it.
Okay.
Where does Bill stand on the issue? Where does Bill,
I tend to agree with Leslie.
okay,
Okay.
So you want to approve the increase in the step and the increase in the wage?
If that's what we're gonna do, as opposed to.
All right, let me-
Well, let me make the motion and you can decide if you like
Okay,
it or
let me-
not. Okay. So I move that we approve the request to convert the AT2 to an AT3 with getting to the closest step, which I believe is a step 3, for this individual.
If you want it clarified, speak up.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Okay.
Okay, so when he goes from a 2 to a 3, right? He will not, if he does not increase his pay, he's not going to be he's not going to fit in a box. He's going to be in between boxes. So typically, if we're going to do this conversion, we got to put him on the next box. Because if he doesn't get to the next box, I'm concerned he's going to get lost. He's not. We approved a matrix for a reason. If we're going to start allowing people to get off of the matrix, I can't support that. So I want him, if he's going to move from a 2 to a 3, I want him to stay on the matrix. The closest move would be a 3, and then that would be, a $2,000 increase.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you, Chris?
Yes and no. I understand the matrix argument because I'm the one who basically initiated the whole
understand.
concept
I
of going on a matrix. But what I'm saying is this, I support the increase in level from a 2 to a 3, but I don't support the increase right now because once the wage study comes in at the end of the month, he's not going to get lost. He's going to fall into a slot and back into the matrix
So
again.
you're saying 2 to 3 and then we wait and see.
Precisely.
I like that.
Okay, so do you want to rephrase your
I'm not going to make a motion. I'm not going to let somebody be in limbo. So I rather him
Oh, I
stay at a
thought you already made a
2.
motion.
Well, I did, but it wasn't seconded, so it died.
That's true.
Yep, so you gotta make a new motion.
Oh, we got to make a new one?
Yeah.
All right. So then let me make it. Okay, so with regard to the movement of a prosecuting attorney, or excuse me, deputy prosecuting attorney from a level ATP 2 to an ATP 3, my motion is to approve the promotion or the movement, but the wage is to remain as current.
I would second that.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Nay.
Chairman Philios.
Aye. And so the motion is approved as presented. Okay. Moving on to item 6, request for employee bonus for the prosecutor's office. Go right ahead, Barry.
Commissioners, last year when the board approved bonuses for employees, this particular employee had been on a performance work plan during a portion of the year and therefore was not eligible for the bonus that was approved at that time. This attorney has done a really good job, has made corrections with regards to the conduct that sort of put the performance work plan in place, and over the last 6 months, I think has just done a really good job. And so I would like to visit, I guess, not revisit, but visit the idea of a bonus, and I've recommended a $1,000 bonus to serve as a sort of a way to make up what happened or what didn't happen last fall and recognize the hard work that's been benefiting the office.
Okay. So now let me ask a question, I guess, for Sylvia. So there are other people that, for whatever reason, question of timing, whatever, didn't get the bonus. So if we do this, and I understand Barry's reasoning, what about those folks that missed out?
Well, they potentially could be brought forward with some rationale as the prosecutors.
Okay, but now we're going case by case again, and here we go again. So my point is, this particular individual was on a performance plan?
Earlier in the year, correct? I
Earlier
think
in the
we
year.
went off the performance plan in
When we gave...
late spring, or mid to late spring.
Okay, when we distributed the bonuses, who was excluded?
Anybody hired after a certain date, and now, of course, I can't
I
remember
think it
the
was like
time.
September 1st or something. It was, or August 1st. It
Okay,
was
so
really
it was-
close.
And anyone who was on a performance, had documented performance issues
In that
as of
12
a
months.
certain date. So they were, all those employees, there weren't many, were not approved for the bonus.
Yeah.
So we got the feedback from the elected officials and department heads of who was not eligible based on any kind of performance.
Okay.
Documented performance issues.
Okay. So basically, yeah, obviously, so the bonus was really, with those exceptions, made available to everyone. It wasn't a question of anniversary date.
You had to be hired by a certain date, and maybe it was September 1st.
But that was the
And
same
then-
for everyone.
Yes.
Yes, everyone.
Yes.
And anyone who had performance issues, documented performance issues as of a certain date or whatever, was not eligible for the bonus either.
Yeah.
That's the criteria we put in
Yeah.
place.
Thoughts?
I think if we start changing it for one, if we do it for all.
Yeah, I can't support it.
And I'm not for doing it for all, so I'm not for doing it for one.
I'm the softy on this one.
You
But
should have
I-
been the softy on the last one.
But I would do I would do the 500, not 1,000. But that's okay. I get it.
That's why we have meetings.
Well, and that's why we're a board. Many times I shouldn't say many times, it's not going to come out right. There are times I walk away from a decision, and to be perfectly candid, I have to say, I wonder if I did the right thing.
Just ask me. I'll let you know, Chris.
Hey, listen, if any one of us does not at times wonder, we got a problem. Because a lot of these issues are not cut and dry. But anyway. So is there a motion?
Nope. Well, not from my end. So,
Okay,
sorry.
yeah. That one's a little bit harder for me, but
Do you want me to put it on the record
What?
and make a motion?
No.
It doesn't prove anything. I mean,
No,
it's-
no,
okay.
it's not necessary.
Well, thank you, everyone. Public comment.
Nancy Bluff wrote in, says there might be an issue in the New World system not putting someone on step.
Say that again?
Nancy Bluff said
That by not putting him on the step?
there might be an issue in New World.
Well, when you say an issue in New World, that's a technical issue, but I don't,
We did ask her to come down and verify.
yeah,
Let's handle it in the business meeting.
yeah, we could do that.
If we can figure it out by tomorrow, put it on the business meeting for Tuesday if we have to make a change.
Yeah, we could do that.
We do have a couple people not on a step.
Okay.
And what they do is somehow payroll makes it like an hourly conversion or something. We
Okay.
make it work, but it's not the right thing. Our goal is everybody's on a step.
Okay.
And let me throw out as, I guess, if it's gonna be put on the business meeting, I know this is not, it's just another option that, you know, a bonus and equivalent amount would be great as well. I mean, if it becomes logistically difficult to do what, you know, to not put them on a step, I've got plenty of money that isn't spent this year that would not have a
And that's a
ongoing impact
consideration.
on the budget. And so I would just throw that out there as an alternative solution if it becomes like a problem with New World.
Well, in that case, he'd have to be lowered down to a previous step. So
Oh, so it'd
it's
be
not going to work. The bonus won't help.
Yeah, you don't want to cut and pay, that's for sure.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Yep. So good thought, but not going to help.
How many people do we have that are not on a step? Just
This-
roughly, I mean,
I think this would make 3. And then,
countywide?
yeah, and of course, we don't have elected officials on a step because that's
We don't
not
have a
relevant.
matrix, though.
We don't have a
Right,
matrix.
you don't
Yeah.
have a matrix, and we don't have a matrix for the undersheriff. So, everyone else is except for 3 in our temporary employees, which usually are hourly, so it really doesn't matter. Our temps are considered temps without grades, and they just get their hourly rate.
So the other 2 people on a step, are they exempt or are they hourly?
Exempt.
Okay. So that's where the issue comes in, is the exempt. Okay.
Okay, one more time. Public comment? No one on? Okay. Oh, I'll use this.
3:57.
My time is 3:58, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Sylvia, couldn't you just do that?